In 2006, almost all students and teachers of high school in Denmark, about 750 people, attended a dinner party. And the same night, the first people became sick, and just a week later, around 200 to 300 students and teachers had reported gastroenteritis with symptoms of diarrhea and vomiting. The bad guy who was responsible for this outbreak is the VIP of the presentation, enterotoxigenic E. coli, or ETEC. ETEC is a type of E. coli which is a gram-negative and rod-shaped bacterium that is commonly found in the lower intestine of warm-blooded organisms. An important feature of ETEC is that it can release two classes of enterotoxins, heat-liable and heat-stable enterotoxins, which can target receptors in the small intestine. Infection of ETEC can cause diarrhea, vomiting, nausea, fever, headache, muscle aches, and bloating. ETEC is transmitted by fecal-oral route. The figure on the left shows how food can be contaminated by ETEC from feces and water. Humans can be infected from contaminated water, raw food, or inadequate cooking food. ETEC is more severe in developing countries due to poor sanitation, so it is one of the main causes of travelers' diarrhea, which refers to people traveling from developed to developing countries to get diarrhea. In these areas of the world, ETEC is responsible for more than 20% of all severe diarrheal illnesses reported. It can also affect developed countries due to food contamination or to ingestion of properly treated water. In addition to the example given at the beginning of the lecture, it has been reported that ETEC was responsible for some small percentage of sporadic diarrheal illness in Minnesota and affected thousands of people in the suburban Chicago area because of dissemination of ETEC-laden food. Infants and children are more susceptible to ETEC because of weaker immune systems. Rehydration is very important to persons with diarrhea to prevent dehydration and loss of electrolytes. Traditional remedies with salty liquids such as chicken soup are also effective. Antibiotics can shorten the duration of diarrheal illness and discomfort, especially if given early, but they are usually not required. It should be careful to use antibiotics since ETEC is frequently resistant to common antibiotics. It can be concluded from the transmission route of ETEC that it is important to try to avoid potentially contaminated foods. Measures include improving sanitation and avoiding raw or inadequate cooking food. This figure compares required CT values of common disinfection methods to achieve 99% inactivation for various pathogens. It can be noticed that E. coli are almost appear at the bottom or median of the figure, which means that CT values for E. coli are relatively low, indicating that E. coli doesn't have strong resistance to common wastewater treatment methods. Studies have shown that ETEC can be cultured from water samples, but it can enter into a VBNC state, that is, viable but non-culturable state, which refers to a state of dormancy when confronted with adverse environmental conditions, which are specific to different types of E. coli. ETEC can enter a VBNC state under the condition with salt water, sunlight, and starvation. DNA colony hybridization method has been studied as a qualitative method to detect ETEC. In this method, radio-labeled fragments of DNA encoding the heat-liable or heat-stable toxins were used as hybridization probes for homologous DNA sequences. This figure is an autoradiograph of filter with colonies of E. coli after colony hybridization with a phosphorus-labeled heat-liable toxin probe DNA, and darker colonies show heat-liable toxin positive. qPCR has been studied as a quantitative method to detect ETEC from water samples, and this table on the right shows the detection and quantification of ETEC by qPCR from different sampling sites. And these are 5 things to remember. Lastly, I'm gonna sing a song which is original from Baby One More Time by Britney Spears. Let's just get started.
My name is E.T. I can really seem to toxic. Oh baby, baby, I should have let you go. And now you're about me. Show me how you're gonna kill me. With your courage, I cannot resist it anymore. My happiness is make you sick, and I'll come to you from what it is, when I'm detected from your sample. Give me a sign.